Man, the reboot for this show is very dark. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cartoon Breakdown. I'm your host, the Animator. The whole reason why I'm doing this episode is that I watched a YouTube video of the top 10 tragic endings to kid-friendly shows, and David the Gnome happened to be one of them. This got me reminiscing about my grandmother, as I have memories of watching this show with her, and it was one of her favorite shows. She used to spend hours watching it, seeing as Nickelodeon would air it on a regular basis. So I figured, why not make this episode about David the Gnome, which I'm pretty sure most of you have probably never heard of it before. About the show. David the Gnome is a show about the title character David writing in a journal about the life of gnomes in a similar way people would write about the life of animals in the real world. The show would often follow David on his adventures as he was a doctor of sorts. He would save the different animals of the forest as they came into problems, such as being tied up by a string by accident or on purpose, or by hunters getting into holes and breaking their legs. He had to do all of this while trying to avoid the trolls which would constantly attack him. With his fox friend Swift, he was capable of traveling all over the forest very fast whenever he needed to go to an emergency situation. Production. I can't say much about the production of the show other than the fact that it was produced in an animation studio in Spain entitled BRB Internacional. The studio was responsible for Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds franchise, as well as other cartoons such as Bobo Bob's and Around the World with Willy Fogg. The show was based on the book Gnomes and the Secret Book of Gnomes by Dutch author Wil Huijgen and illustrator Rien Portvliet. As I've stated before, when Nickelodeon first came out, they didn't have cartoons they could call their own. This is one of those cartoon shows that was imported from another country and dubbed into English for Nick Jr. in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Voice cast and characters. For the cast of characters, you have the title character David, voiced by Jose Maria Cordero in Spanish and Tom Bosley in English. David is 399 years old, making him the oldest gnome around since gnomes don't live past 400 years old. He's a doctor and can use his knowledge to help the animals of the forest when they get into medical issues or troubles. You have his wife Lisa, voiced by Matilda Conesa in Spanish and Jane Woods in English, who takes care of the household and occasionally goes out on adventures with her husband to provide additional help. The last member I'm going to talk about is Swift the Fox, voiced by Ramon Langa, who is of course the loyal companion to David, as well as the reason he gets around the forest so quickly. Broadcast history. The show had two different airings, the original air date and the US air date. I'm going to focus mostly on the US air dates, as that is where I remember it from. The first season began May 2nd, 1987, and would last until July 25th of that year, with a total of 13 episodes. Season 2 started September of '87, and would last until November, adding another 13 episodes, leaving the series with a total of 26 episodes. The show is currently available on Amazon for about $200. It's a 4-disc set and has all 26 episodes available to view. I remember the show was very cute and I loved watching it. Of course, back when I was a kid, I loved watching anything animated. The show garnered a spin-off series, The Wisdom of Gnomes, which featured two different sets of gnome characters, but it was set in the same universe. There was also a revival of sorts of the original series, starring David again. However, his wife was not as prominent in the show as the original series, but it was instead focused on David's adventures with his nephew. As I've stated before, the reason I did this episode is because of a YouTube video that I watched that had dark endings to kid-friendly television shows. Yes, this has a very dark ending, but it's a good one, and I would highly recommend that you get the DVD and watch it for yourself. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode, and remember, I'm your host, the Animator, and this was Cartoon Breakdown. I can't shake this feeling, but I feel like I'm being watched. Hey, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, please consider checking out my channel. I have a lot of content there based around cartoons, and if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe, as I would be very grateful. Another thing that would be very helpful is like this video and comment. I'm the Animator, and thanks for watching.